Hello and welcome back to the 32nd episode of my still unnamed survival series. Today is going to be a little different. Today we are going to be working on all the things that I have been putting off until now. So it's going to be jam-packed full of, well, random things. But to get us started, we are going to build the path around this farm. This path is going to be giving us the markers for where we cannot place villager workstations or items. And it's going to be the same theme as the path in our village. So let's get started. This right here is going to be the peak of our path. This is exactly 90 blocks away from the village inside of our windmill. This path is going to be the marker for where we cannot place anything that affects villager mechanics. And this is the shape of the path. This has a lot more shallow of a curve than I was expecting, which is going to work out beautifully for what I have planned. I would like to blend this path in with this section right along our lake. And now that I have the shape of our path established, I'm going to go around and place our detailed blocks. And the first block up is andesite, followed by a little bit of mossy cobblestone, and one of my personal favorites, the coarse dirt. You know, this is getting pretty dark. We should add some light with some sea lanterns. These will be covered. I'm also going to add a few different forms of wall blocks. And to give a little more pop, we're going to put lanterns on the top. Surround the path with leaf blocks. And for the final detail, bone meal and buttons. I was flying over my paths and I was thinking it kind of looked a little boring with just the one path, so I'm gonna add a few more going directly up to my windmill. Wow, absolutely beautiful. That really tied in this area quite nicely. I'm happy with that, especially this area. And now we're gonna fly across the lake and do a little bit of terraforming over by the melon and pumpkin farm. I guess my plan now is to turn this little area into a bit of a gulf. I would like to put a dock here or some nautical or aquatic based build. I think that would fit in quite nicely with this area, especially with the mild terraforming that I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna finish this all the way because I really don't have any idea what I'm gonna put here yet. I just know I want something here eventually. All of these little mounds and bumps, all of this stuff is left over from the naturally generated village that was here originally. I don't really want these remnants here. I've never really been a fan of the shapes that come with the naturally generated village. I just don't really like the way that it affects the terrain. So I'm gonna remove all of it and actually turn this into a shape that I think is pleasing to the eye. I ended up taking out a little bit more than I wanted, but I think in the end, once I get it all terraformed, it's gonna look pretty good. But this definitely turned into a little bit bigger of a project than I first thought it would. I'm just about finished up with this area now. I'm letting all the water in, and I don't think I'm gonna dig this down any further than the water level. I don't know exactly what I'm going to be building in this area, so I think it would be the best option just to leave everything under the water the way it is. Once I get the land in its final shape, then I'll probably do something under the water, but until then, I'm just going to leave it as is. And this is how it turned out. It's a little thin over on the actual land, but I think that we can work with that. I'm pretty happy with this. This area is going to be some sort of dock or nautical themed area. I just don't know what I'm going to be doing with it yet. But now it's about time that we move on to the next task for today, which is going to be cutting down some trees. I had a glitch in my world, and a chunk line all the way from these trees all the way to the left was basically reset and put back to the way it spawned. So I gotta clear out that island again. Honestly, not much going on here. Cutting down trees. That's pretty much it. Yep, still cutting down trees. But now it's raining. I actually kinda like this look. Weirdly enough, I might have to make a forest without leaves somewhere. I think that would be kinda cool. But now it's time to get rid of these two. Goodbye, my leafless forest. All of the trees that were once in this area are now gone. And I'm thinking we should start something a little different. So I am gonna go ahead and pop myself into the nether and do a little project in there. I have made my way into the nether, and it's about time that we finish up this hole. I need to get rid of all the stuff that we're standing on all the way down to bedrock. All the lava and the netherrack has to go. Ooh, maybe the gas will help me this time. But let's get started. I don't really want to remove all of the lava, so I'm marking out a gravel line right where my beacon stops working, and that is where I'm going to dig to and where I'm going to remove the lava. I don't know exactly how I'm gonna remove this lava yet, but I think I'm gonna try a few different ways. Well, this has taken a lot longer than I expected. I didn't quite realize how big this hole was until I tried to make a perimeter around it. I can't even see the end. But this perimeter is finally done, and I think it's about time that we start taking out the lava. I am not really sure the best way to remove lava, so I am going to try a few things. I'm hoping that as this gravel falls, it just removes all of the lava underneath it. But I don't think that's how gravel works. But I'm gonna test that out anyway. So after I drop the gravel, I'm going to place netherrack over the top of it and then progress down the line, seeing if it gets rid of it. If it does work, over time the lava should lower in its height, but if it doesn't, it'll stay the same height forever. This is definitely not working the way that I wanted it to, so I think I'm gonna try another method. I'm thinking signs. Signs need to be placed on something, which is why I'm placing this netherrack in rows of 2. I'm gonna place the signs in between these, and hopefully it'll just remove the lava when I do. It should leave an air block so I can see what's underneath it as well. This is definitely working, but not as well as I would have liked. I wish there was an option to turn the sign pop-up off. I think that's what's taken the most time and making it kind of annoying to do. I think I'm gonna try something else. Doors. Doors might work. Doors are like signs, but 2 blocks tall. So let's give this a where did that fire come from? Why can't I place a door here? Why isn't this working? Maybe if I try it over here. This works. That worked too. Can I just not reach it? Swap place. What? Can I not place doors on top of doors? What? This is worse than the signs. This is terrible. This is like the worst idea I have ever had. I made way too many doors. This is torture. What am I gonna do with all these doors? I thought for sure this was gonna work. This is awful. Goodbye, doors. I do not need you in my life anymore. Thank you for nothing, you useless hunk of wood. I'm thinking carpets now. This is all the wool that I have, and I'm thinking I'll just turn literally all of it into carpets. Hopefully this works a lot better than the doors. All right, carpets, this has to work. No. No. It doesn't work. These just burn up in lava instantly. That's not fun. Still a better idea than the doors, though. This is kind of fun, though. Well, I guess these are all trash, too. Well, I am completely out of bright ideas, so I think that I am going to finish this with signs. Yeah, no, not really. I'm gonna fill this entire lava pool with sand and then just remove the sand. That seems like the quickest and most effective way to remove the lava, so that's the method I'm gonna be going with. And I also have a beacon to remove it all when I'm finished. If you guys have a better way to remove lava in large areas, please leave a comment down below. I would love to hear your suggestion. This is definitely the quickest method I've found to get rid of all of this lava. I'm creating a wall of sand 2 blocks apart from each other. Then I'm placing the sand at the top of the wall. That's gonna get rid of my top layer, and then once the lava settles, I'm gonna place the sand directly below the top, and that's gonna get rid of the lower level and the top level at the same time. Basically getting rid of 2 blocks of lava with 1 block. And honestly, this has drastically sped up the amount of time that it takes to get rid of this lava pool. I am gonna speed through this really quickly now. And just like that, all the lava in my square is completely gone. This was a lot of lava. The sand you're seeing is exactly 5 full shulker boxes of sand. That is a lot, and it barely made a dent into these lava lakes. To sum up this experience, this was horrible. I do not recommend removing lava lakes in the Nether, but if you do decide to do it, I would use sand.
It was definitely the best out of all the methods that I tried. And for whatever reason, if you decide to begrudgingly take on this task, why? And now, we can get to the fun stuff. As you can see, I've got some TNT and I plan on blowing up my nether. I really don't feel like mining all of this out by hand, so I am just gonna dig a bunch of holes and blow it to smithereens with this TNT. Honestly, I haven't really ever used TNT before. I was always too poor in my Minecraft worlds to even make this much TNT, so I'm gonna be a little cautious with it and go, no, we're gonna go at 8 blocks with this. I really don't want this to blow up the sides of my square. I've been trying pretty hard to keep it nice and neat, so it would be nice if it didn't get damaged during this. We'll see how long that lasts though. My plan is to lay out this TNT in kind of a grid pattern. I saw Green do it in Hermitcraft Season 7 on his mansion build, and I thought that that would be the first method that I would try. Might work out a little differently though, since this is Bedrock and that was Java, and this is also the Nether, not the Overworld. But you know, we're gonna ignore those facts and do it anyway. Yeah, never mind. Something inside of me is telling me to be a little cautious, so I'm gonna light this one line that I placed and give it a good test run. We'll see how this goes. We got some explosions already. Oh. That, wow, that that is really launching those things. That didn't work the way I wanted it to. Well, I mean, I guess kinda. That definitely did what I wanted it to. You know, mostly. That is a lot of lava. Yeah, definitely gonna have to space those out a little bit more than I did. That is a lot of damage. Yeah, definitely gonna have to be more careful. I'm thinking with this next round, we dig down to a certain Y level and don't go all the way down to bedrock. Maybe use the same amount of TNT but spread it across a larger area and just not go down as far. Let's try that out. I think I'm gonna go like a third of the way down to bedrock. I've got my TNT placed, let's give it a good light. I think I've got about 4 rows of these and they each go about 7 or 8 blocks down. This is really sketchy. I don't know if I like walking next to these explosions. Oh, I missed. That's a lot of damage. Yeah, that is a lot. This seems to be working out really, really well. I don't think I want to mine any of that ancient debris yet, so I'll just leave it floating there for a little bit. Yeah, this is definitely what I'm gonna be doing for the rest of the day. I guess let's stuff the rest of my nether with TNT. And here we go. Or not. That was anticlimactic. Let's try that again. I'm just gonna go ahead and light all of these. This might work out a little bit better. Oh, missed. Oh, yeah. This did not work better. This is really where I don't want to be. Oh. That does seem to be working pretty well. That is beautiful. Ah, no, not again. Not beautiful. Bad. This is definitely working out a lot better than I thought it would, though. I'm gonna have to use TNT more often. This is working swell. Okay, so I've completely filled the second quarter of this area with TNT. This was a full inventory of TNT. This better be a big explosion. This goes all the way down to bedrock. This might be a little overkill, but I want to see it, so we're gonna do it. I did bring a few totems, just in case. This is way bigger than I thought it would be. This is such a waste of TNT. Oh my gosh, I'm blowing up the sky. Oh man. That worked. That was cool. I did blow up my wall again, so I guess that's not cool. I would say that worked pretty well though. This is definitely a winning method. 10 out of 10. Well, it's time for the big one. I have completely filled the other half of this soon-to-be hole with TNT. This is about 2.5 inventories of TNT, and I'm just gonna light it all now. All right, let's take a step back and see how this does. That's a lot going in the air. I'm not sure how well this is gonna work. Oh gosh, that was right at my face. I don't know how I didn't die there, but okay. Now let's take a look at the damage. Not that much, actually. That did a lot less than I thought it would. There was a lot of TNT there. I think that mostly just flung it up and out of the hole. Little odd. And there we have it, a completely dug hole. The lava is gone, the netherrack is gone, everything is gone. There is still quite a bit of work to do. I do need to take out all the netherrack from the bedrock and only leave the bedrock. I've also got like a bunch of floating ancient debris that I really need to get rid of, but I kind of think I might leave them. They look pretty cool. We'll see though. There is definitely a lot here. But I think for now we are going to leave the nether and maybe come back some other time. Maybe clean up all that bedrock. I am over at my temporary mob farm, which happens to be my main mob farm. I am going to add another farm in this area, which is also going to be a temporary mob farm. There is a glitch in the bedrock version of Minecraft that makes tridents disappear, so this is going to be a trident farm. Tridents power pretty much every farm in my world, so these are pretty important to get my hands on. This mob farm does need to be quite high just so it's out of the range of the other farm, and this is the optimal level for drowns to spawn. This farm is loosely based off of another farm that I have seen of a similar fashion. I am just adding my own personal tweaks. The link will be in the description below if you want to check out the original video. But now that I'm all the way up here, I think it's about time we build the farm. I want this farm to be about even with the other one. Unfortunately, the other farm has a 1-block center and this will have a 2-block center. So we're just gonna have to work with it. And I want this line of soul sand to be exactly 8 blocks long, including the block I was standing on. And now I am going to put a 2x2 block section right in between these 2 patches of soul sand, both 8 blocks long. And then extend my soul sand 8 blocks more on each side. And then we're gonna fill out that square. These numbers are gonna make a little bit more sense when we go to put our water lines in. Now that all of our soul sand has been placed, I am gonna go around the perimeter of this and place a wall. This wall is going to be about 3.5 blocks tall. We need to spawn proof the top of the wall so the mobs will actually spawn where we want. And once I'm finished with my wall, I'm going to hop down into my soul sand square and cover it all up. I know this doesn't seem to make a lot of sense at all, but trust me, it's completely necessary. Now that all of our soul sand is covered up, on the layer above the soul sand, place some fence gates. And yes, you do need the fence gates over this platform as well. The farm will break if you don't have them there. And once we get those fence gates in, it's time to add the water. You can use ice like I'm doing, or you can use buckets, as long as it's filling the back layer, creating a flowing water stream going towards the center of the farm. Do this on both sides. This is where the layer above the soul sand really becomes necessary. This makes it so the water on the very back flows directly to the edge. This is what's going to push our mobs to the center. Once you have all of that water placed, dig out the left side and the very back of this farm and start filling up that line that you just dug out. Once you do, you should start to see bubble columns forming. Once you get the water placed on those lower levels, start removing everything that's covering the soul sand. You should start to see all of these bubble columns emerge. That is perfect. That is exactly what we want. Make sure to do this on both sides. Now that the top half of this farm is done, I need to go around this little middle section here and place a 2-block tall wall. This does include your soul sand, but for neatness sake, I'm going to match the height of my floor, and that'll also give me some blocks to place up against. You know what? Before I actually place this wall, I am going to make this a little bit easier on myself and give me a place to stand. This ice is going to be the floor of our farm, just so that the drowns and other mobs can actually slide towards the center where we're gonna have a trident killer. Now that I actually have my walls placed and my floor placed, I'm gonna go on both sides of this farm and add our water streams. These are 8 blocks wide so that the water will perfectly line up with the edge of our Trident Killer's drop tube, right in the center of this farm. And now it's about time that we actually add the Trident Killer. I'm not gonna show exactly how I made this Trident Killer. They're pretty simple and pretty interesting. So if you wanna learn more, just give it a Google. But this is the collection system for this farm. It's a pretty simple one. We have a hopper minecart sitting on 4 hoppers, and that is going to lead into a few chests. And then from there, I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. I might put in a redstone sorting system, or I might not. Honestly, I haven't really decided yet. For all practical purposes, this farm is completely done. This is going to be a drowned, copper, bone, honestly, and any aquatic type mob pretty much. But this farm is completely working now. We could let this go for hours and it'll produce tridents, as well as things like ink, copper, bones, pretty much every aquatic drop. But we're gonna add our own little tweaks to this, hopefully making it a little bit more efficient, so let's get on into it. The first thing I'm gonna add is a sorting system. I know it's not really a tweak, but it's still very necessary for the efficiency of farms. This is primarily gonna get rid of trash and other things that I really don't want, so it doesn't take up space in this waterline sorting system. And this is how I'm going to be laying out this water system. This chest right here is very important. This is going to line up the items with the hopper and the ice so they still move quickly down the line while being detectable to these hoppers. We also need a block that will hold water while being small enough to allow items to pass right through it, which is where the glass panes come into play. Glass panes are perfect for this type of sorting system. I've got my sorting system made, the farm made, and I think that it is time for an AFK. I would like to test the rates and then maybe double check and see if there's anything I can improve on in this farm. After that AFK session, it was about an hour, give or take. We got a lot of goodies and a lot of trash too, mostly trash. We have a lot of fish, a lot of rotten flesh, and a few other things that I really just don't want. I want to keep the ink, the bones, the copper, and the tridents. And other than that, it's all trash. So with this farm producing all of that trash, I need to make a waste management system and shoot all of this junk that I don't really want into lava. We did get a fair bit of tridents. I would like to get way more of these on average. So I gotta do something about that, but I did have some ideas that will help improve the rates and the functionality of this farm. So I'm gonna get started on those. So just a little explanation on what I'm doing and why. The top of this farm, I think I am going to cover with leaves. Leaves will give us enough darkness to spawn drowns even during the day, while giving them access to daylight, which is pretty important to getting drown spawns. Another idea I had is right in that drop chute to the kill chamber, I am going to put coral fans. That is going to help the drowns pathfind into the kill chamber and improve our rates just a little bit when it comes to tridents. 2 very small changes to this farm that should help our rates a lot. And the first thing that I added was this trash chute. Look at all this garbage. Man, this farm does produce a lot of trash. Look at it go. Disgusting.
It does look pretty cool when it's working though. I actually really like this.
But now it's time to cover this entire farm with leaves.
Hopefully this works the way I want it to.
And now I'm gonna make my way into a coral reef and pick out some coral fans. It doesn't matter what fans, just coral fans. And now we go ahead and place these coral fans into the Trident Killer, trying our best not to fall in. Oh, that didn't work. Okay, well, I guess place your coral fans and then escape your Trident Killer. And with the addition of this farm, I think we are going to call it an episode right here. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and all the things we did today. Most of the things that we did, I should have done a long time ago. I've really been pushing away and procrastinating on digging out that nether. It's just such a daunting task digging that hole. But especially with all that headway I've been making in my base, I'm going to need a lot of gold very soon.
But with that, my name is Red Skies, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye. If you're still watching, thank you. I really appreciate it. And as always, if you have any tips or tricks for using DaVinci Resolve or video editing in general, please leave a comment down below. I would love to hear your opinions.